What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and for some reason today I realized that this DLC, Miss Moxie's St. Valentine's Day Massacre, is not completed on this save file for whatever reason, and this save file is my main Melee 0 save file, and so I have to assume that it was due to bad gibbing or something like that, because I definitely did this DLC with this character first, and so I feel kind of dumb that it's not done here, so I figured I'd go ahead and complete it, and, you know, why not do a little episode on it. I'm going to play through this main portion of this DLC, and maybe we'll do a side quest or something else that will come in a bonus episode. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and start this. They bring back Innuendo Bot here. This is my favorite of the Headhunter DLCs. I like Moxie and Ellie's dialogue. I like the whole story of the whole thing. I enjoyed them bringing back Innuendo Bot, the Hodunks, and the Zaffords, and I thought it was a pretty cool DLC start to finish. It's my favorite Headhunter pack, even though the Craw DLC comes with a raid boss. I just didn't think it was a very good raid boss. Ooh, we're seeing Moxie's head right there. That's kind of weird and disturbing. Yeah, I don't really like Son of Craw as a raid boss. You know, after multiple times trying him, he is, you know, he's not like Gi level stupid or Dexy level stupid, but he's like Hyperius level stupid, where it's just kind of a dumb raid boss in my opinion. The best way to fight Son of Craw with every character is like B and conference call, I think, and that's just kind of stupid. Some people really praised the, oh, you have to kill a bunch of those little enemies during his, you know, well planned out stages and everything like that. Well, you don't actually have to kill those enemies, you can just kind of walk around them and stuff like that, and Craw is timed, and, you know, people said, oh, he's got all these mechanics. His only real mechanic is that he's hard to fight with sniper rifles because his critical spots disappear fairly easily, and that to me is just a really stupid mechanic. All his other stuff is just bad hitboxes and stupid movements. So I don't really like Son of Craw. I'm sorry if that's being a negative Nancy or whatever, but I do think this DLC start to finish is really good. My only complaint about this DLC is that you cannot mini-must fall chain these two motherfuckers here, which I think is really stupid. That's my only complaint with this DLC. You should definitely be able to mini-must fall chain those people. Definitely would have made the DLC more enjoyable to me, and I definitely would have enjoyed trying to mini-must fall chain those dudes. We're going to go ahead and kill this Thresher here while we wait for Ellie to finish her dialogue there and tell us to steal a baby from this Hodunk clan up here. And that's what we're going to do. I'll also mount this little Thresher that I got here. I don't know if we're going to mount all the Threshers, but we'll mount a couple of them, why not? If you do mount all the Threshers, I guess I might, you will gain access to that chest above the trophy board there. Here's another piece of Thresher bait. Once you do that, you will gain access to that chest, which has a high chance to give you legendaries or other rare items, which is pretty cool. I think the only 3 times that I've done it in 4-player mode, I actually got a legendary. So that's pretty neat, and a couple of the times I did it with single player, I also got a legendary, but there were other times where I only got a blue relic or something like that as well. So, it's a good chest, but like all chests, there is definitely an element of luck to it. So we have to kill all these guys, I think, in order to progress the quest line here, so that's what I'm going to try to do. There's going to be a few more guys down here that we're going to have to kill as well. Try to get some preemptive slag on these dudes, so that when... Wow, not getting any slag at all. So that when I get near these guys, I will have slag on them, but that wasn't what happened there. I did gain a follow-through bonus there. I'm going to use it to get a little bit closer to these guys. Kill at least one of these guys to get a mini-must fall chain going, which will give me more survivability and more deception time. Try to kill this guy as well. It didn't work because he didn't have slag. And then he did the weird thing where you execute him and he moves and then glitches back to where he was. That unfortunately kills me sometimes, which is aggravating, but most of the time I'm able to make adjustments for it. Also using the Pimpernels as my side weapons here, because they are especially damaging with boar. So we're going to have to go in here now. I guess I'm going to do this Wormhole Thresher real quick because I went ahead and picked up the bait for it. So why not? This Thresher is going to have a wormhole mechanic, which can be kind of irritating for Melee Zero. We'll see if we're able to get through it. Maybe I'll try to position myself a little ways away from him and use this car, I guess, to block his wormhole and kill him with the Pimpernel. You know, why not? Seems like it'd be a little bit smoother than meleeing him and having the game do what it often does with Threshers and have them, you know, completely block damage, which is aggravating. Some bad textures here. I blame the consoles for these 1 pixel wide Threshers. Or textures, rather, not Threshers. Threshers are what we're fighting. So there he is. He's definitely a wormhole Thresher, which are aggravating, but, you know, hopefully we're able to get through him here. So it's called Ikaroa or something like that. It's got a fancy name. I also don't like Threshers because they go underground and stuff like that, but if we just use, you know, a little forethought and planning here, we're able to use this car and not get wormholed in there. So that's good stuff. Go ahead and mount that guy on the board. He's the littlest guy, I think. There is still Rue, the Love Thresher, who is the last one. There's still the Fire one that's the only real hard one because of damage over time at overpower levels. And then there's going to be one more that I can't really remember. You know, if we stay far enough away from them, though, they're pretty easy to kill with Pimpernels because of Boar. So here's the dude I'm talking about that eventually asks you not to complete a quest, which, you know, is kind of funny to me. It's kind of a fun play with the players, whereas the Grandma DLC is an unfun play with the players. I find it absolutely stupid that listening to Grandma Torg takes longer than killing the actual turkey. You know, and I'm not talking about just the fight with the turkey either. I'm talking about the entire DLC, other than the Grandma Quest, is shorter than the 2 Grandma Quests combined, especially if you happen to fail it at some point in time. You know, I can understand them making it so that you have to listen to her, but the fact that they made you like actually have to actively listen to her and it has a fail state, that's just beyond me. I think it's kind of rude. This here is a minor complaint as well. You have to stay kind of close to the robot here, and that's pretty stupid because all of these guys have, you know, incredibly aggravating damage over time guns or elemental guns. In that case, we got slagged, and so you can't really use the cover like I'd like to, and that's, you know, awfully aggravating. I don't really see why they had to do that. They could have just made you kill X amount of enemies with this robot, but you actually have to stay close to him too in order to get him to behave right, and that's pretty stupid. But, you know, minor complaint there. Dying isn't really the worst thing, it's just something I like to avoid. Dying is the worst thing, what am I talking about? It's the worst thing that can happen in this game, I guess, I don't know. See, like, I go try to melee all these guys, and then I don't get close enough to him, and so we just get infinite Zafford spawns here. But as we march him a little bit closer to the door, we're going to eventually get done with all these Zafford spawns. They'll spawn a big guy, thank God. They'll spawn this big guy, and then we have to kill him, and what's left, and then the robot will break into the door for us, which is cool. This is one of those frenemy AIs that just doesn't do damage to enemies and just makes them harder to damage for you. And I kind of don't like that. But, you know, whatever. Alright, so now he's going to blow up this door for us, and we'll go into the distillery, and we'll drink some of the beer, deal with some of the Zaffords and loaders that are in here. Or not beer, whiskey, excuse me. And he'll meet this robot here that eventually asks us not to pull her wig off and kill her. Now, I do have to be honest, I wish all of the Headhunter packs were combined in, or weren't combined, actually. I wish they were all scrapped and turned into an actual DLC. But I hear that wasn't possible due to limitations on the consoles. You know, their memory limit and all that. They couldn't add more enemies to the enemy pool and stuff like that. So, you know, that's sad that we have to base games off old hardware like that. But, you know, it's what we're given. Borderlands 2 is still a great game, despite its drawbacks, and that's why I still play it today. I'm going to go ahead and drink from this one as well. I am worried that the pre-sequel will suffer from some of the problems that Borderlands 2 suffers from. They're showing a lot of the same weapons in all of the... oops, I forgot to bottle it. They're showing some of the same weapons that are in Borderlands 2 in all of the gameplay demonstrations for Borderlands the pre-sequel. And that's pretty dumb. I would like them to bring no weapons back at all. But it seems like they're bringing back all the weapons from the main game. And another thing that's irritating me is that in these gameplay previews, they're having just terrible players play. Players that are really, really, really bad do these gameplay previews, and it's irritating to watch. It's hard to watch. Like they just put out one with these incompetent IGN people who were commentating over the developers' commentary, and it was just hard to watch. And then I tried putting it on mute, and it was still hard to watch because they spent more time in Fight for Your Life than they did like Alive. They died like multiple times in a 2-minute span. It was just stupid. They're playing at like level 35 with legendary weapons. Speaking of that, they were using the pitchfork, like one of the worst weapons in the game, and he was terrible with it. Like, seldom did I see him manage a critical hit with the, pitchfork, and so, like, why are you even using a sniper rifle? It was just aggravating. You know, like, I don't know why they'd expect people to watch that. It was terrible. Interesting, those guys have a grab you and pull you closer mechanic as well. Alright, we've dealt with them. I thought those guys were kind of interesting, how they gave you that drunk effect. That was pretty cool. I also found it kind of interesting that they put an ammo thing back here as well. It's not incredibly necessary, but I guess it's nice. In here in this room, we're going to have to fight a combination of Zaffords and loaders. So I'm going to go ahead and equip my corrosive pimpernel here. The first thing that's going to come in, I guess, is this loader. So try to kill him, and now Zaffords are going to spawn, so we're going to kill him as well. Kill this guy here, this guy here. It's important to kill the Zaffords because an unfairly amount of these enemies happen to carry damage over time guns, which isn't necessarily a big deal in other difficulties, but in overpower levels it is absolutely awful. What do we got going over here? Another Zafford Carver. Is there anything else about to pop out of this door? I don't think so, so we're just going to finish that guy off. There is a piece of Thresher bait right back here, so we'll go ahead and pick that up. You can pick up as many pieces of Thresher bait as you want. This pot of gold here is going to turn into a Bling loader. Yeah, that's what it's going to be called. You know, I could kill it right quick if it was actually damageable, but it's not, so that's pretty irritating. There are going to be a couple more loaders that spawn here as a result of that, so we'll go ahead and finish them off as well. Excellent. Now we need to work through these Zaffords here. They're going to be 2 little ones and a big one. It looks like the 2 little ones. No, one of them's a Carver and one of them's an actual gun enemy. So the Carver and the big one are going to run at me here. I really wish you could have 5 weapon slots, because 2 of Zero's weapon slots are devoted to your melee weapons, and then another one is going to probably be the Slag Pimpernel. At least that's what it always is for me. And then I have to alternate between a Fire and Corrosive Pimpernel depending on which enemy type I'm facing. It's not that big a deal, but, you know, again, the only real reason you can only hold 4 weapons is because that's all the buttons that the console has room for. So, kind of irritating there. Where is that Zafford? I don't know what happened there, but I was able to get through it, and so that was pretty good. Didn't get slagged here by this guy's slag gun. That was also good. Now in here there is going to be the Bling loader and a number of Zaffords that will spawn. Now if I remember correctly from my several times doing this at this point, the Bling loader, he's the only thing that matters here. They'll keep spawning a number of Zaffords for you to gain second wins off of. I have that monstrous pimpernel because I did the guide on how to find a pimpernel, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. But yeah, so we're going to have to kill the Bling loader and the Bling loader only in order to progress here. And the Zaffords that are spawn or are going to spawn are just basically accessories. They're nice for Maya because you can phase lock those and activate chain reaction and wreck, which will allow you to deal extra damage and stuff. Wow. Do not like the fact that he just jumped down there for seemingly no reason and then immediately jumped back up here. But we finished him off with the Pimpernel because he didn't want to be meleeed for whatever reason. He also dropped here this next piece of Thresher bait and the quest item we need to complete. The first time through here, the Bling loader is always going to drop the Thresher bait. Otherwise, it's going to be right over here in this little bucket. So now we need to wait for some of this dialogue here. Each character has a unique dialogue that happens here. Zero will say something when when Moxie asks him a question. And each character, Zero is going to say something a little bit different here. He goes with this little haiku here to make the baby cry. And then he'll also have a unique bit of dialogue when Moxie asks him a question. I think if he's ever had a lover or something equivalent is the question there. In addition to that, the only thing I really don't like about it is that Zero's voice acting is different from the main game. And I'm not really sure why they chose to go with that choice. It seems kind of weird, especially since some of his other dialogue bits, if you get a critical hit kill or something in this DLC, and it happens to cue an audio, it won't be the same as the audio he speaks otherwise. And so that's kind of weird. It's interesting. I don't know why they made that design choice, or change, I guess, but they did, and we'll live with it. Alright, so all of these Headhunter packs are really, really short. They're, shorter than some of the single chapters from the main game, I would say. Right now, we're basically on our way to... I think we have to make a pit stop at Moxie, but other than that, we're on our way to the wedding here. So that's interesting. But... I guess it was still nice to get extra content. The little side quest are what really makes the Headhunter packs and the dialogue and everything. I would have liked for them to be longer, but, as Gearbox has stated, that's due to a console limitation that they can't be longer. And, all gaming is hindered by consoles, and we just have to live with that until people wise up and stop buying those things, which I hope will happen pretty soon in the future. Otherwise, we'll continue to get content like this. I guess I'll go ahead and do these Threshers real quick. As you get over here, it starts getting, cheerier and merrier, at least weather-wise, until you start the wedding, that is. And then it will once again get dreary and dark. So I don't know if this is going to be the Fire Thresher or the other Thresher. In case it's the Fire Thresher, I'm going to equip my Shock Pimpernel and Shock Bone of the Ancients, and we can probably just melee him if it's not the Fire Thresher. Oh, but it is the Fire Thresher. And so, I also am going to put on my Inflammable Hide of Terramorphous. I'll have to remember to put back on the grounded one. Alright, so there he is. Looks like I'm doing damage to him. It looks like he's fighting something over there too. So, we'll just keep doing damage to him from afar. I don't really want to get too close to him because of the fire damage over time, which is just something I'd like to avoid. He has a cool name, at least. It's Firekraken. He's basically a badass Pyro Thresher. Oh, so he was out of the ground there fighting these Hodunks. These Hodunks are doing a good job for me, working as a distraction. Getting good bores there. Oh, we finished him off, so that was good. Alright, now I do need to put back on the Fire Pimpernel and the Inflammable, or not the Inflammable, the Grounded Hide of Terramorphous, so that I do not kill myself with my Chain Lightning Grenade, which I just used right there. Wonder if I can kill this guy without roid damage or slag. We'll see. Definitely. Excellent. So we'll go ahead and mount this Thresher here. He's quite large. There's one more Thresher, and then we have to go do the two Hodunks, and then get their Thresher bait and do the last Thresher there. and that's where I'll cut the video off. Anything from this chest? Looks like we got a purple doll Vladoff barreled sniper. Vladoff barreled doll sniper. So it could be decent. It can work as a crit machine if you get it as a low enough level, but it's not that great of a gun, and I don't need to pick it up right now because I have all the weapons I need. So I'm trying to remember if this one really has any mechanics. I don't think it does. I think it's just a really large Thresher, kind of without mechanics, so we don't really have to worry too much about him. He's an easy kill. Same with the next Thresher, actually. He's just, I don't know what he does. I've never let him live long enough to actually figure out what his mechanics are, and I don't plan to this time. Is my goal, at least. Now, this fight I'm a little bit nervous about up here. If you fail during the actual fight, you'll get multiple of the people. You'll have more than just 2 of the bosses. You'll get 3, 4, or more of the bosses. You can create a virtually impossible to win scenario. We're going to drop this baby off real fast, and then we're going to go to the wedding. It does have a Romeo and Juliet mechanic to where we're going to have to kill both of them in a very short amount of time before the second one revives the first one you killed. And it's necessary to do that because if you don't do that, they'll level up and get harder. The other enemies in there are all just accessories. They will also target their opposing because there are Zaffords and Hodunks here. The Zaffords will attack the Hodunks and vice versa. Especially focusing on Colin and Bridget. So you can try to, keep their aggro off you and everything. However, if you get too many of these guys with damage over time weapons, it doesn't look like those are damage over time weapons. They're all Jacobs so far, so that's pretty cool. But, like I said, if you get too many of these guys with damage over time weapons, and they're going to spawn from these trailer homes here, and probably there as well, you can get into some real trouble. So you don't want to have that happen to you.
No, we're here for peace. Just put the potion into the ceremonial punch
Put the potion in the bunch bowl and take cover, I guess. So I don't know what I'm going to try to do here. I guess weaken one into killing blow range with the Pimpernel, and then kill the other one, and then, killing blow the one you weakened. Is my goal, at the very least. So they'll go through their little fight, making up session here, and then they'll bump heads, and that will cause them to want to take their helmets off, which will cause them to go into Goliath rage mode, which is bad news. And that's why we'll have to kill them. Nope, so take the helmets off. That's a terrible lesson, kids. Love is still fun with protection. Don't have babies if you're not ready to. You can get into some real trouble that way. Alright, so Bridget's nice and weak. Colin is weaker than he was, so they're both pretty weak. I need to kill one of them and then kill the other one. I'm going to draw Colin back here a ways so that Bridget has a long ways to run, hopefully. Alright, so hopefully my deception gets back before Bridget gets here, and then we're able to kill Bridget. I know she's low on health, and we'll be able to, hopefully have her running in here soon, and then I'll kill her before she starts the revival process. Oh, that worked out so well. Definitely draw the happy couple into this cave here. That's definitely the easiest way to deal with them. Now we are going to have to get rid of the rest of these guys, which I'm assuming are all going to have aggravating damage over time guns. So keep that in mind and work through them, cautiously and appropriately. That worked out really well. That was, better than I expected. I hadn't really ever practiced that draw them into the cave mechanic, or not mechanic, strategy before, but it worked out really well for me. What do we still have over here? We have an ultimate badass Zafford, which is basically just like those badass enforcers from the bar brawl. Excellent. So we finished him off. We're going to pick up... Where is the golden fish? The orange fish? It's supposed to drop a piece of Thresher bait, but I can't find it, so maybe we don't complete the Thresher thing. I'm going to search in here, see if the Thresher bait spawned somewhere. There's supposed to be an orange rarity piece of Thresher bait that spawns, but it didn't spawn for whatever reason, so interesting. I really wanted to complete that Thresher quest. There's supposed to be an orange piece of Thresher bait that spawns. Maybe I picked it up, just unwillingly, and didn't realize it. I'm hoping that's the case. We'll check if that's the case, but I don't think that's the case. We'll also check if any of these are just miscolored Thresher baits. No. Really? I guess that's the drawback of bringing them into the cave. That really does suck, though, because I would have liked to have that piece of Thresher bait. I'm going to search one more time for it. It's an easy Thresher, too. It's not difficult, so I wasn't trying to skip out on fighting it by any means. How aggravating. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be in here. Very, very weird. Would have liked to have that. Not a big deal. The Thresher bait quest is still cool. This is the only time I've had it really fail on me. That's a shame, though. Alright, we're going to go up here. We're going to go turn this quest into Moxie. And she'll give me this side quest here, which I think is pretty cool. Is that the piece of Thresher bait? Huh. Well, that is strange, everybody. Maybe if the Thresher bait doesn't drop down there for you, it will be up here in this little puddle. I've never seen that happen before. It's kind of weird. I'm glad we actually get to kill Rue now, though. So we're obviously going to get a head for completing this. This is a Headhunter pack. Censorbot will have a quest in there for us. I'll probably do a separate episode about that, just because I think it's a pretty cool little quest, and it makes me laugh and stuff. So maybe that will be tomorrow's video in addition to, or maybe it will be Monday's video, since I planned to do the recording for the Maya run through Digistruct Peak. I do thank you guys for sticking with me through this video. I know that maybe gameplay commentary is not just your favorite thing and everything like that, but if you did watch to this point, I do appreciate it. Like I said, this is my favorite Headhunter DLC. Obviously, I had some complaints with it. I tried to stay in a good mood through it all. I didn't have the best day, but, you know, all days are good in their own right. So, when you have a day that's not quite the best, it just gives you some time to think about all the really good days that you've had. Gotta stay positive. An optimistic outlook is really important, and I recommend you guys all participate in such things. So, we're going to figure out how we're going to kill all of these guys and this Thresher real quick. I didn't realize that all of these dudes might have respawned because it has to refresh those guys for the next little side quest there. And then we're going to go ahead and finish off these guys down here. Alright, so we need Rue, the Love Thresher, to go ahead and pop up. I'm going to enter his area here, see if that caused him to arise. We didn't get an immediately Borsplosion on him or anything like that, but we did get a little bit of extra damage with the Pimpernel, so that we were able to put him in Killing Blow pretty easily with our first execute, and then our second melee regular strike there was able to finish him off. So now we're going to go ahead and apply this Thresher trophy, and that will give us access to this chest. Hopefully we get something cool, but we'll see. We're going to open it, and nothing. Wow, a purple singularity grenade. Could have been worse, you know, it could have been all blue grenades, but didn't get anything really worth the time of mounting all these Threshers, except they do look cool here. Man, that sucks. I was going to use this as the thumbnail for the video with a legendary item here, but it didn't work out, so I'll just go with a different thumbnail. Anyways, I'll be sure to show you my gear and skill build that I used during this. I'm just using a pretty standard melee build right now. This is my badass rank. It was off the whole time, and this was the gear that I used. I also made heavy use of the Corrosive Pimpernel when we were dealing with the loaders. And the rest of the gear I used was a legendary ninja class mod, a hide of Terramorphous, a chain lightning to strip the hide of the Terramorphous, giving me extra roid damage, and a Bone of the Ancients relic, mainly to increase my cooldown rate, but also to grant a little bit of extra damage to my Pimpernels. I should also mention that I used the Shock Pimpernel for a moment to deal with the Pyro Thresher guy. I do thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't yet, please take the time to subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. If you have any questions, be sure to ask in the comments, and I'll try to answer those for you. Otherwise, I do hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.